Hey YouTubers, I'm coming to you from my backyard on a beautiful morning. I was at Home Depot yesterday picking something up and I noticed all the sheds they have in the parking lot that they sell. And it got me to thinking about the different sheds that I have built or helped friends build and some of my experiences with that and some good advice that I received that has changed the way I think about those sheds. And so I thought I would pass that along and hopefully help you guys out. As always, if you find this helpful, please like and subscribe. Okay. Well, over my shoulder here, you'll see my shed kind of hidden back in the shrubs, and that's just the way I like it. But before we get to that, let's talk about those sheds that you see at the home centers. Now, the metal sheds are the cheapest, and I helped my grandfather put together several of those. He liked them. I was never a fan. Um, these things, they're difficult to put together. It takes a couple of people. Um, And when you're finished, you've got something that's going to start rusting almost immediately. And the sliding doors on those things are awful. They jump the tracks and they get bent, and they're just not very good. There's zero ventilation in that shed. The metal sheds, you still have to build a foundation either out of treated 2x4 or you have to pour some concrete. They're cheap, and that's about the best thing I can say about them. Now, the next upgrade is the plastic sheds, and they've actually gotten pretty good size nowadays. The problem with those is, at least down south, those things begin warping almost immediately. And as a matter of fact, if you read the fine print on the instructions on those, they'll probably tell you after you mowed your yard, don't park your hot mower in the plastic shed. That's a no-no. They usually don't have windows. They usually don't have any ventilation. If you put it out in the sun, it's going to begin warping and then fading and then cracking in just a short period of time. Most of your metal and plastic sheds are going to come with a warranty from 90 days to maybe a year if you're lucky. Now let's talk about those prefab sheds, or the ones that are built on site. Now if you buy a prefab shed, they're going to deliver it on a flatbed truck like you see towing cars. And so if you buy a prefab shed, the truck has to be able to back into your yard and slide the shed off into your yard where you want it. So for somebody like me with a very hilly wooded lawn, that's just not even an option. There's no way a truck could get back here and put that shed where I've tucked it back in the corner back there. And even if they could, it would do a lot of damage to the yard getting it back there. So the ones that are built on site, my first house, I bought one of those sheds. And if you look at them, they're 2x4 construction, but the 2x4s on the walls are 24 inches or more apart. They use 2x4s for the rafters. The foundation is not very good. The side walls are formed to look like wood planks on the outside, but it's just pressed OSB. And so they've got a 2x4 stud and a single sheet of OSB they nail up against it, and that's it. That's your wall. Like I say, they use 2x4s for the roof joists, and they're often spread 24 inches or more apart. The floor is OSB, the roof is OSB. The shingles are thin, cheap shingles, and there's no tar paper under the shingles. That's an upgrade. Windows are an upgrade. Having a vent is an upgrade. Shelves are an upgrade. If you'd like a ramp to be able to drive your mower into the shed, that's another upgrade. And so when you see these things in the parking lot and you look at the price, be aware that may be the base price for the building. And all of these other upgrades, things you're going to want in your shed, are going to run that price on up. Many years ago, I read an article on garden sheds, and the author of the article was saying that you're going to spend money on a shed one way or another. Why would you spend money on something that is an eyesore when you can spend the same amount of money on a shed that actually enhances your yard and becomes a feature? And I thought that was brilliant. And so I set out to find a set of shed plans and build my own, and I wanted to make it look as much like my house as possible. And there's a lot of really clever shed designs out there, and you can buy them. They're very inexpensive. In 2004, I bought this set of plans off of eBay, and I think I paid $10. But you can get similar plans anywhere. As it happens, this particular company, their website's no longer up. I was looking for it last night. But there's lots and lots of shed plans out there. So what do you get for your $10? Well, you get a set of plans that shows every elevation. There it is, front and back. All the details. Information if you want to build your own door, which I do not recommend. I'll talk about that later. And you get details showing some of the different details. There's your floor plan. There's how you cut and lay out your floor sheathing. This shows your floor plan where all your studs go for the walls. Again, lots of information here. Everything is all spelled out for you. But the most important thing is right here. Here's your building list. Everything it takes to build that shed. It's worth buying the plans for this alone. Now I made 2 copies of this, and I took one copy to Home Depot here in town, and I took the other copy to a family-owned lumber company that's been in business for generations. And I asked them both for bids. I had to go back to Home Depot 3 times over the next several weeks and remind them that I was waiting on a bid for this. I finally received the bid from the local company and from Home Depot. The local company was cheaper. I encourage you to get bids from as many different places as you can. And if you have the option of going with a local company, I strongly urge you to do so. Home Depot's bid was higher, and Home Depot would have delivered everything on a truck in one delivery, and I would have struggled to keep the materials dry while I was working on the shed. The local company was cheaper, also had free delivery, and I asked them, can I break that materials list down into what I need for the foundation and have you bring me that? And then I'll let you know when I'm ready for the rest of it. Can you bring that in a second trip? And they agreed to do that. They were awesome to work with. And so now that I had my plans, I had a bid on all the materials, it was time to get started. Let me show you how this turned out. Well, one of the first decisions you'll need to make is where you're going to put your shed. And I looked at my lot, and there really isn't a great place to put a shed here. We're at the top of a hill, and the builders just sort of leveled off the top of the hill and put the house here. Well, over here, there was a spot that with a little bit of dirt work, I could make a level patch to build the shed. So I hired a gentleman with a bobcat, and he came and leveled out this area and gave me a place to park my shed. And so that was the first step. I'm fortunate that one of my best friends, Denny, has a lot of construction experience. And we've been friends for 25 years. And over that time, we've helped each other out with a lot of construction and home improvement projects over the years. And so I couldn't have done this without his help. He came and helped me work on the shed over 2 weekends. And then I worked on it on my own during a few weeks. And so I think I've probably spent 2 to 3 weeks start to finish on this project. The sheds that you buy at the home center that are either delivered or built on site are going to come with a 1 to 5 year warranty. This shed is 18 years old and still looks like new. I want to share with you some of the changes I made to the plans and some of the decisions that were made in building it. First thing I did was I changed the roof pitch to match the house. I used architectural shingles that matched the house. I changed the design of the eaves to match my house. I used hardy plank cement siding. That's what's on my house. And I used only cement trim, which is what's on my house. I built it with double doors because I knew I would need to be able to put my riding mower in there. The ramp you see out front is built out of 6 2x10s with 2x6 treated wood top, so it's very sturdy. One of the other things I did was I used ventilated eaves so that I have good air circulation inside the shed. In this window you see here on the side, I knew I wanted a window, but I did not want a window that was going to use up a lot of wall space. This is actually intended to be used vertically alongside your door, but it was on sale cheap, and so I think I paid $20 for it, and I installed it horizontally. So it allows light to come into the shed. It's a nice little design feature on the side of the shed. Nobody can look in, and it preserves my wall space for tool storage. Now, I installed a keypad here because I kept wanting to get to the tools when I'm out in the yard working on something and realized I didn't have the key. I have to go into the house and get the key to get in, so I installed this keypad, and I really have enjoyed having it here. Now, if I'm out in the yard and I notice something needs attention, I need a tool, I just come over, punch in the combo, open the door. Again, steel doors. I basically built this using the same construction materials and techniques you would use on a house. Over here, you get a good look at that transom window that was installed horizontally, and I'm really happy with the way that worked out. Lets a little light in, looks nice from the outside, but I still have all of my wall for storage. That countertop came out of our laundry room. We didn't like that countertop, and so when we redid the laundry room, I just moved it out here. You'll notice a lot of storage overhead. I've got all my shelves installed on the back wall, and more tool storage on the side wall. Now the construction on this, the sides are OSB with a layer of tar paper and then my cement board on the outside. On the roof, 3/4 inch plywood, tar paper, and architectural shingles, just like you would find on a home. The floor, 3/4 inch plywood, and it's screwed down, not nails, so I don't have nails coming up. And the screws came in handy. I had a armadillo dig under the shed and had made underneath the shed his den. And so I moved everything out of the shed on this side, undid the screws, lifted up the plywood floor. I evicted the armadillo, poured cement in the hole where he had been, and dirt, and screwed the floor back down. And then I came back and dug a trench all the way around the shed and put this wire 6 inches down into the dirt at both ends and along the sides. And so no animal will crawl or burrow under this shed again. So I strongly encourage you to install a wire like this around your shed if you're not building it on a slab before you build the shed. This could be done when you're building the foundation. It would be a lot easier than what I had to do. But no critters have gotten under the shed since I did that. If you find yourself needing a shed for your house, I hope you'll consider building one yourself. You can either save money or you can build a better quality shed. I ended up with a better quality shed. I bought a lot of hand tools I didn't have to build the shed, which I still have those tools today. And I got a lot of great experience that has helped me as a homeowner. I really encourage you to tackle one of these projects yourself. It's a great learning experience. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe if you did.